Hello everybody and welcome back to Simon's Gaming Academy. Today we are going to have a game with Crucible Guard. I'll be running Lukas and I'll be playing against my friend Dodgy Dave. He's going to be running Azlanov in OId Umbrey. So we're going to be playing Trench Warfare, as you can see the setup here. I'm just going to say before the battle rep begins, Lukas, so when I'm recording this is Wednesday night in Australia. Usually by the time that I get to work on a Thursday morning, we will have the Wednesday update from Steamforge that'll be pushed through. So at the time of recording, I don't actually know whether or not Lukas has changed between now and then. And I'm just going to assume that he's going to. So what I've decided to do is come back at the end of the battle report in my usual post-game kind of voiceover and talk about if he's changed, how I think it would have affected the game. And then after I've done that, I used to do these videos when I did my Age of Sigmar content where I would talk about units and models and how they interacted with the rest of the army and what I liked about them, what I didn't like about them, kind of like a unit breakdown. And I think I'm going to do that as the Crucible Guard stuff releases. And so usually I would do that in the weeks that I'm not doing battle reports. So you get a battle report week 1 and you will get a like a tactics or strategy video or unit overview video week 2. So I'm going to try doing that going forward. A little bit more work for me, but in the lead up to CanCon, which is the biggest tournament in Australia in January, it's probably not a bad time to be thinking more about Crucible Guard. Well, Crucible Guard and Warmachine in general. But my intent is to play Crucible Guard at CanCon, and Lukas is one of the casters that I'm considering. The reason why I like Lukas, besides the fact that he's just a junkie, and I think it's funny that they actually went ahead with that concept of a guy that injects himself with like Warmachine speed to make him a warcaster. I just think that's a hilarious concept. He's also got an aggressive debuff in disintegration. He's got personal output's quite good, like a 15-inch threat. Force hammer is obviously good, and then a lot of models in his army also have range attacks. The fact that he's at the moment got TK is something that I really like, and the fact that you can TK friendly models, it's not just friendly factions. So as you can see in this list, I'm running Magnus with Invictus. I'm not sure which of the Super Juniors I want to run with Lukas. I just know that I want to run one of them as long as he's got TK. The reason that I'm running Invictus in this list is because with TK and Energizer and his natural threat range with a 3-inch melee, he can threat 15, which I think is quite good. And Lukas doesn't really buff much of the army around him. He's got Iron Flesh, which is, maybe okay on things like failed experiments or on the Colossal. People like to put a lot of shots into the Colossal. Or on himself. It's also great because he goes to armor 18 and he has hyper regeneration or hyper. Anyway, he heals after an attack hits him. I can't remember what the actual rule is called. Let's look that up because we're trying to do things properly still and we're like 3 months in. Rapid healing is what he's got. So when he's damaged by an enemy attack, immediately after the attack is resolved, he removes D3 damage points, which is quite good. He's also got he supports a melee. Well, I mean, a melee list kind of supports him, but being able to disintegrate and rust and or withering humor stuff is just amazing. And he can arc the disintegration or the force hammer through a Liberator. So let's go through the list. So I've got Lukas. Oh, and I win the roll to go first. So I've got Lukas, I've got a Liberator, I've got an Ascendant Mentalist, I have I have Invictus, obviously, with Magnus. I've got 2 Crucible Guard Mechanics. I've got Alejandro Mosby, whose name is definitely not Adolf, 100% not Adolf. It was never Adolf. What are you talking about? I've got Prospero with a Vulcan on him. I've got 2 Rocketman Stingers. I have 2 units of Crucible Guard Assault Troopers, and I've got a single Dragon's Breath Rocket. Right, so it's pretty standard list, like 2 units of Assault Troopers, 2 Stingers, a Dragon's Breath Rocket, Vulcan on Prospero, Mechanics, like at the moment, a lot of Crucible Guard lists look fairly similar. I think the Liberator is basically the only thing that's interesting in this list. Oh, and I've got Alyce, of course. I don't think she's in my revised list, but she's in the list. And then Dodgy's playing Maksim, who we all know is a bit egregious. He racked Inviolable, Resolve, and Windstorm. He's got a Feral on him. He's got the Starved. He's got Nostilla with Aberration. A Liegemen Ursans champion, which is the bear solo that gives precision strike. It's basically what he's there for. An Animist Veroni, who's in every OU list, obviously. A Witchmark Totem, the Chosen of the Witch, 2 units of bear, cav, 1 unit of Shearlings, and the Chosen of the Witch. So in this initial kind of bit here, I move Lukas up, I put a Cloud down, I put Iron Flesh on the Colossal, just in case. Like, it's armor 19, it kind of folds once people actually put range attacks into it, so I prefer it to be armor 23 for as long as it humanly can be, and stuff runs up. Right, so what I'm doing here is posturing for position, so you can see on the top side there, there's a Rocketman Stinger that's hiding back there. The Assault Troopers are moving up to kind of threaten if he tries to put anything on that objective, which probably won't first turn, but basically just jockeying for position. And if he moves anything up too far, then I can potentially, TK the infantry model and charge into something, because similar to the Boundless Charge with Gearheart, when you've got TK, you can obviously TK a model an extra 2 inches, and then the Assault Troopers threat 10. So they're quite decent. So in this scenario, you've got the 2 cohort objectives. The initial plan was to capture the top one that you're seeing here, the one on my left flank with Invictus, and the bottom one with either the Liberator or the Vulcan. And look, the one up the top, if Invictus gets into range, like, I'm sure he'd like to punch some bears back in the face, but if he goes up there and the bears get charge attacks on him, even an armor 22, he's still going to fold pretty quickly. So just jockeying for position here, okay? Now, what I'm looking to do, you might not be able to see, but the Liberator's front and central behind what is a forest, kind of where the cloud is between the wall and that piece of terrain in the middle there. So what I'm trying to do is give myself options, so the Liberator can go either to the right if he brings something up too far, or it can go to the left if he overextends himself there, essentially for a cheeky disintegration. Unfortunately, one of my bugbears about OId Umbrey and about the game kind of in general at the moment is there seems to be a lot of Sacred Ward, Spell Ward, so you can't target things with range attacks. And it was one of my complaints with Kane. I think I probably commented on that in the video that I did where it was Kane versus Wolf, is that a lot of things have just ignore your ranged spells, which bothers me. And Disintegration is a great range debuff, and I can't put it on the Starved in this list, for example. I can put it on the Feral, which is relevant, and I can put it on Aberration, but the Starved is really, especially with his area of effect debuff, is something that you really want to get an arm debuff on. And the only thing you're getting an arm debuff on really in this list is the Feral or Aberration, or individual bears, which again isn't that great an application of a 3-cost spell. Is it 3 cost? Maybe it's 4 cost. No, it's 3 cost. So it's like, look, it's okay. It's okay. Into OId Umbrey. So OId Umbrey is a bit of a, I think they are in a very strong position in the meta at the moment. I think the WTC probably proved that to be true. I can't actually remember what the stats were for OId Umbrey, but I know that everyone was teching for OId Umbrey and having to take it into considerations for their pairings. And especially Azlanov. Azlanov is kind of ridiculous even in faction. Sorry, yeah, I think I said that I was playing Yana in the beginning. Anyway, if I did, I apologise. There's another battle report with Yana coming soon. This one is Azlanov because the guy is just rude. Even more rude than Yana. I think Yana's pretty bad. The fact that she's armor 20, can't be knocked down, can't be pushed, and has transfers. And then you get to this guy, and this guy is just even more ridiculous. So Dodgy's having his turn. Basically, he's pushed all the cav to the top. The Starved is up there. Azlanov is kind of in the middle. And down the bottom, he's put Aberration up, and he's put the Chosen of the Witch up as well. Now, what I'm going to measure first is whether or not Aberration is within 10 inches of the Liberator. Oh, sorry. Where do I need to put the Liberator to be within 10 inches of Aberration? Because what I really want to do here is move up and put a Disintegration on Aberration so that he gets another -2 power, and then I can hit him with a couple of rockets. So a no-heal rocket is probably what I'll be doing with the Vulcan. I can hit him with the -2, but yeah, because I sappered, sorry, so first of all I sappered the wall out of the way. Now I'm measuring to see the Liberator can literally be standing behind the wall and within 10 of Aberration. So what I don't do here, and just as a caveat, I'm already a couple of Captain Morgans deep at this point. This is the night of WTC, so Dodge and I are kind of having a watch party while we're playing. But also at the same time, we've already played three games this day at another local tournament. So yeah, so the fatigue is real. I misplaced the the Liberator there. He was meant to be within 3 inches of the cache to stop it from being scored by Dodgy. Obviously didn't do that. I got excited about getting within 10 of Aberration to disintegrate him. So I do that. And then, so I put the disintegrate in. I actually forget to do a damage roll, which is relevant because when you're rolling a power 15, essentially, against Aberration, any extra damage is important. And I've got focus to burn at this point as well. He's not going to get anything onto me, so I can just do a boosted power 13 into a -2 armor Aberration, which seems good, but I forget that it has power at this point. So then the Dragon's Breath rocket moves up, puts a shot into Aberration. It hits him, and it's -2 further to his armor. So Aberration at this point in time is actually -4 to his armor, which is quite legitimate, I think, anyway. So he goes down to armor 15 with the disintegration and armor 13 with the withering humor, and even impervious flesh isn't going to save you against that when you're hitting with at armor 13. So we do some shuffling around. Oh yeah, what else? I think. Yeah, so we're trying to get onto the objective. We're like, no, we can't get onto that objective. So he's literally going to move up as far as he possibly can. This is the Vulcan, sorry. So Prospero's gone. He's unguided fire. Not that I need it against Aberration, who's Def 10, and I'm Rat 7. But anyway, it's put a rocket into Aberration and boost the damage. So it's power 14 against armor 13, and I'm boosting. So he's got impervious flesh. It's only 2 dice, so dice +1. Each one of these shots should do 8 damage, really, on average. And Dodgy tells me he's got hyper aggressive, so he can move towards me. The problem is that he's in that rough terrain, which is that river there, and so he can only move half his normal distance. So speed 5 goes to speed 3 because of the rough terrain, and so he gets up to that objective, but because of the size of his base and because you have to move directly towards, he's not going to be able to come any closer to me from this position. And so we've put 2 rockets into him, and then I think we've put 2 unboosted sprays into him, or maybe we put 2 sprays and 1 rocket into him. Anyway, I can now charge with this guy since he hyper-aggressived. And so these assault troopers go into Aberration. It's obviously not going to be a good day for Aberration because I think I did Alejandro's thing to give them +2 damage as well. The name of it's got a stupid name, doesn't it? Yes, the Fortomorphic Elixir. So +2 to melee attack damage rolls and gains overtake. So I put 2 guys into him. I kill him with the first one, and that's it. Essentially, because I'm power 19 against armor 13, and even with 2 dice, dice +6, the average is 13 damage, and I think he had like 6 left, so easy. We then move the Stinger up behind the building so that and this is something, again, that I like doing with Stingers. If you've got line of sight blocking terrain, you can move them up behind a building, and because they got speed 7, they can fly over the top and punch stuff and blind stuff and sidestep and repo and do all annoying things. Yeah, I really love Stingers. I don't know if that's gotten across. Now, what I was measuring here was basically the threat range of the bears. Obviously, with his feet, he can get into me regardless of what he wants to do, is really how it works. But I consider putting that assault trooper on that objective, but it means that I'd be in charge range of the bears without the feet, and so I just decide that it's not worth it, essentially. So nothing is contesting that cohort objective at the top. And honestly, if he moves his caster or the starved onto that objective, I'm probably okay with that. Right? He's got to use a high value thing to score that objective because he's sent his feral front and center, essentially. So everyone's gone. We're kind of just meandering around the middle and posturing for him. The problem with Azlanov is that it's so difficult to, even, you know, with me going first, it's so difficult to stay out of his threat ranges. When he feats and with all of his extra buffs, like, everything just goes so far. And yeah, it's just such a ball-busting feat. And allows all of his stuff to get in. So, what's happened here is that because I've charged Aberration and taken him off the board, the Chosen of the Witch are in range, and so they get into my Assault Troopers and make nuisances of themselves. And I think that they kill 2 of them, and then that's it. And then no further. Which, like, I'm actually not that devastated about, because the Assault Troopers cost 7 points. I've taken off the Aberration, which is, you know, let's be generous and say he's like 15 points. And now I'm going to get the Chosen, who are 8 points, I want to say. They might be 9 points, because I know they're undercosted, so they're probably 8. No, they're 9. Anyway, they should be 10. But yeah, so now I'm going to be able to get a 9-point unit as well, and I'm going to kind of hopefully snowball this right flank to the point where he basically loses the game on scenario, because I just keep storing the cohort objective and the flag objective every turn, and he's not going to be able to run enough stuff to contest before I kill it all, is the plan. So we're measuring here now to look at the Liberator. So I thought that, again, the intention was that he'd be within 3 inches of that objective. And so I'm just checking the positioning of the objective correctly, and then we just measure, and I'm like, yep, okay, he's definitely not in it. So Dodgy scores the cash with that first unit of bears. Honestly, I don't really mind, because now his bears are like quite exposed. He's obviously moving these ones back too, but to get that 1 bear there, he needed to overextend the entire unit, which I'm okay with. Because now I can, you know, I've got a few options now that I can basically hit back with. And they're in prime charge range for those Assault Troopers at the top. They're at prime charge range for my caster. Invictus can do a lot of work if I need him to. And if I can kill these bears plus or minus the feral, I'm actually in a pretty good position for counter attacks against Invictus. And I'm pretty happy for that, for him to come in and do that. Now, Dodgy is measuring out. As you can see, there's a yellow base there, and then he's got his cav that are moving in to move around him. What he's doing there is he's measuring out the range for Azlanov's ability battle formation. So while in this model's control and base to base with 1 or more models in its battle group, friendly faction warrior models gain +2 arm and cannot become knocked down. So with the yellow base is where the starved is going to go to. All 3 of those bears, plus the Precision Strike solo, the Ursan solo, are all going to be +2 armor, right? It's most egregious on the bears, because they're armor 18 base. They go to armor 20 with unyielding, and then they go to armor 22 with the battle formation. And then if you put Invulnerable Resolve on them, like these 2 at the bottom, they go to armor 24, right? So that's where you start stacking those arm buffs, and they're quite good. And I can fairly effectively in this army reduce armor, but he's getting a +4 armor before anything else happens. So, +6 armor with Invulnerable Resolve, which is just ludicrous, and why I'm very much happy about the statement by SFG on the weekend, where they're saying that they're going to get rid of the rack. Which, hopefully they don't just give Invulnerable Resolve to him again. Like, he's already got battle formation, there's your armor buff. You don't need 2 armor buffs in the same list. But anyway, that's my issue that I've got with the rack at baseline. You just stack things on top of each other and just make it even better. So Dodgy has scored 4 victory points here. So he's got control points. He's got the 1 at the top for the starved being on the cohort objective. He's got the 1 for the hounds at the bottom being on the unit objective. And he's gotten the 2 that he got from taking the cash. And he's then moved Nostilla down to this bottom, the flag terrain. Not necessarily to score it herself, because he doesn't really have many models to score it himself. But what he's doing is ensuring that I can't just run stuff onto it and then automatically score it, which is obviously a good way to use Nostilla. And now that Aberration is dead, because she's not going to do much else, right, for the rest of the game. She just needs to contest things and stop me from scoring points. And if I don't deal with her down the bottom, she's going to be able to move up and contest both the flag scenario terrain and the cohort objective. So it basically puts a target on her head for this turn. So now I've got to figure out what my goals are for this turn, and obviously the Chosen are a priority. There are 2 of them that are contesting that cohort and battle engine objective. I obviously need to get rid of them, and I need to figure out a way to do it, essentially. And I only got limited number of models that can actually complete that job over on that side, because the Colossal has to walk around a wall, which is very annoyingly positioned with that objective. Now the assets that I've got over that side are the Dragon's Breath rocket. I've got a single assault trooper here who basically just needs to get out of the way so that the Colossal can potentially get through and charge and kill something. I think just looking at this here, I play this a little bit incorrectly. I think the model that I need to get rid of is the one at the bottom left, so that I can create a landing zone for the Colossal to charge over the top of the objective and get to a position where he's not only threatening to kill Nostilla if Nostilla comes out to play, but can also threaten the middle of the board. That was probably the correct play. What I've done here was probably the incorrect play with that assault trooper moving him where he was, but you know, that's fine for this turn, because I know I'm going to be able to get rid of that Chosen, not easily, but fairly simply, I guess is how I'd put it, and I'll be able to score that 50 mil objective pretty simply as well. Maybe not the flag this turn, which is unfortunate, but I just don't really have the models over that side of the board with the speed to be able to get onto that objective. Potentially I should have sent the Liberator up that way onto the cohort objective, but that's not really what we do at this point in time. So what I'm doing now is that trick I was talking about before with the Stinger. So basically he moves up, he punches 2 bears and blinds them, and then repositions away. I think that, again, another mistake. So there are 2 Stingers that are on that top objective, and so I think that one of them could potentially have gone, blinded some bears, and then moved on to that, or contested that cohort and battle engine objective. And then the second one could have gone and contested the unit objective and stopped Dodge from scoring another point, which is probably the correct play. But we'll just say it's fine at this point in time. It's okay. What I did was okay. So we have gone with the Colossal now, so I put a spray into Nostilla, and because of guided fire, the attack was boosted and then boosted damage, and then I was very lucky to roll enough, I think it was like a 14 or a 15 on 3 dice, to kill her through the focus damage reduction. Second spray goes into the Chosen of the Witch in the middle, and then I just wipe them inconsequentially. I spend power because the Dragon's Breath rocket already went and put -2 armor on them, and what that meant was that it was easy for the spray to kill them. Like, it's a power 14 spray, and they are armor 14 under that, under Withering Humor, and so I just need boosted 10s to kill them, and then I get that every time. So not that big of an issue. So this is potentially a mistake. So I send the Liberator over into the middle of the board. It probably doesn't need to be there. It probably comes back to this objective, and then I can go forward with the Vulcan and push him into the center. But I sent him over that way for whatever reason, trying to put him into a bear with a power 13 against armor 22. Like, it's not going to do anything, is it? So then Lukas goes up. I think, what turn are we on? 3, so he's probably got 8 focus at this point. That sounds about right. He gets the buff from Alejandro to make him power 15, and he just throws lots and lots and lots of attacks into that bear until he's dead. I missed 2 of them on 4s, so I need 5s to hit him, and I rolled 2 4s in a row, so that's 2 focus that obviously was wasted. But I get him down. I've got 4 focus left at this point. I have had Iron Flesh on the Colossal this entire time. There's nothing really threatening the Colossal anymore over this side, so I swap Iron Flesh to Lukas and leave it at that, basically. The 2 bears in the middle there are blinded from the one of the Rocketman Stingers, and so I know they're not really a threat. They're not going to be able to get to me. It's just that feral that's the problem, and so I need to somehow deal with the feral. And then once I've dealt with the feral, my caster is safe over this side, and I've got pretty comprehensive dominance of this right-hand side of the table, if I'm able to achieve that. And yeah, this is Magnus moving over to try and get into range of shooting at the feral. We just energize. I probably should have energized actually to the right so that I did have line of sight, because I didn't have line of sight with rocket. If I energize right to have line of sight, then I can put some shots into him. But anyway, Invictus goes in. He charges into one of the bears. Actually, no, he threshes at this point, I think. And so I put some incidental damage onto the 2 armor bloody 24 bears, and then I put attacks into the feral, and then I start to buy some attacks, roll a couple of crit shreds. So it's actually not too bad. I don't believe I end up killing it with Invictus, and then what that means is that I have to throw my assault troopers in to just make sure that it's dead. Because if I don't kill it, I'm leaving myself open to reprisal. Like, even though it's fairly damaged and it can't heal, because I'm pretty sure it took a shot to the face from the rocket from the Vulcan, so it can't heal anyway. So it's quite injured, as you can see from the thing on the right. But it's still got 2 systems up, and so if with Invictus I was able to take out 2 systems and leave it with 1, I'm probably okay with that since it can't heal. But because I essentially need to send stuff in to finish it off, and pretty much the only thing I've got left at this point to put in to finish them off is the assault troopers. The unfortunate outcome of that is that there's nothing on my flag scenario terrain now, right? So that is wide open. This turn, for what it's worth, Dodgy scores 1 for the unit objective at the bottom, which again, I think that if I put a Rocketman on that instead of elsewhere at the top, then the scores are much more even at this point. I score 1 for my unit objective and 1 for my cohort objective, so I score 2, and he scores 1. So we go up to 5-3 at this point, and the game is precarious because I haven't been able to kill those 2 bears. So those 2 bears are blinded, so all he literally does is just walk them out of combat, place them in so they can contest that objective, which means I have to deal with bears again, and I don't like dealing with bears as much as everyone seems to love them. They're a pain in the butt. And because of Invictus's 3-inch melee range, that back bear is actually currently engaged, and so he'll be def 16 against range attacks, which is bad, right? Now, Dodgy's trying to figure out what else to do. And obviously, if he can't get enough things in that can run and contest this bottom flag objective from next turn, I'm going to start scoring 3, and it's going to be an unanswered 3 every turn. You're going to have to sacrifice things every single turn to run over it and stop me from scoring the 3. And I should be able to just run the clock down at this point to win on scenario if I can clear the bear and get in control of this the flag terrain scenario terrain piece down the bottom. And now what he's measuring out is moving the bears. Basically, they're not that bear is engaged, but if he can unengage those bears from that Rocketman Stinger, who is def 16, not unrealistic, especially because he's got his caster back there. The bears can run, and he can place his mates into the forest, essentially. And sorry, not forest. It's a rough terrain piece, and because he can do that, it means that he can score 2, 3, 4 this turn. And again, scoring 4 in a turn is significant. It means that I'm really I'm going to have difficulty catching up to that, right? My mistake with the Liberator probably helps me here, because what it means is that the Liberator can now run over to that scenario terrain piece, and when the bears aren't charging, I'm pretty sure they're mat 6. And so the Liberator is def 15, armor 19 against living models. And so if he puts the bears into that and captures it, which as you will see he does, I can then send the Liberator in, and it's highly unlikely that the Liberator is going to die. He's only got power 14s on his bear claws, so it's their dice -5. So even if he does hit, he's doing 2 damage on average with each bear claw. So even 6 of them is just 12 damage of the 24 that the Liberator has. But he needs to roll 9s to hit the Liberator in the first place. So he's not going to hit with 6 attacks unless he janks and gets a crit knockdown or whatever. But we're not accounting for that. So the Liberator is, despite me putting probably in the wrong position, he's actually probably in the right position now. And I didn't, that's just pure luck. I didn't even think that through. That was just, pure virtue of the fact that I put him in the wrong position, that now he's probably in not a bad position. So as you can see, Dodgy runs the bears up. So we've got Bear Cav inside of my scenario terrain, they will score 2 points. The Starve just moves out of threat range of Invictus, or tries to. I mean, I've got a 15-inch threat if I want to TK him, so he's not really out of my threat range. But he is fair way back. As you can see, the ram, the shearling moves up and rams one of my assault troopers and kills it, which is just embarrassing, really. And then Veroni moves up and contests the cache. So obviously to score the cache, I need to kill Veroni, who's got 5 wounds, which is a pain in the butt as well. The Hounds are still staying back on the unit objective, because if he moves off, he doesn't really have anything up there that can score it anymore. But yeah, I'm not looking good at this point. So I score 1 on my unit objective. He scores 4. And so now he's got a 5-point lead. So it's a difficult position to be in for me. I feel like I should be on more than I currently am. It's kind of annoying, the fact that I'm in a bad position. So the Assault Trooper are basically just moving him out of the way, because what I want to do is get the Colossal onto the Cohort and Battle Engine objective. What I am... So he's not engaging me, because they only have 1-inch melee, right? So I still can charge that guy if I can get 3 inches. What I keep forgetting about with this Colossal, and something that I'm going to try and remember, is that I've got Bulldoze, and so I can charge that guy, I can push him out of the way, and have a resultant position where I'm on the objective, on the flag, and I get the charge attack. I don't do that. So, but essentially it could get me to a position where the Colossal was closer into the middle of the board and is threatening the unit objective and is a better position, right? So now, like, I'm not in a good position. I move up the Assault Troopers to basically just get in the way of his attacking models and to get out of the way of Invictus if Invictus wants to go in. I do all-terrain on the Liberator, send him into the scenario terrain piece. And this turn, so I'm looking to score potentially 1, 2, 3, 4 at the bare minimum, if I can keep a unit or my Warcaster on the unit objective at the back. And spoiler alert, I don't do that. I see red. Like, Lukas is at, I think he's at 9 focus, 9 focus now, and I'm just like, I just want to charge and kill stuff. And so that's exactly what I do. So he charges into some bears. He does have overtake, so I probably, because I buff him with Alejandro again, he probably could have overtaken back 1 inch off that guy, gone into the other one, hit him, and then done hit and run and moved back onto the unit objective, and then we would have been happy as Larry. I remember overtake now, but I didn't remember it for the first one. And then it would have been okay, but I didn't do that. So whatever. And I forget he's got hand cannons as well. I forgot that I can move Invictus house. Like the Colossal runs to this point at this juncture in the game. Like, that is such a bad use of that Colossal, when he could have charged Bulldoze and then put melee attacks into that bear. But in my defense, I am a few Captain Morgans down at this point. It was a very happy night. And I'm not making the greatest tactical decisions in the history of Warmachine, and that's fine. So the 2 things I had to do this turn to not lose the game: the first one was not move my caster off the unit objective, which I forget. The second one is that I need to send Invictus in to contest the Cohort and Battle Engine objective. And guess what? The next thing that I forget to do is, look, I'm even measuring. Can I charge that guy? No. I'll just forget literally a second later that I need to go onto that objective and contest it, or he just wins. And that's essentially what happens. Quite embarrassing, shall we say, that I forgot that, because I'm pretty sure I clocked at this point anyway. I can't actually see my clock because of the glare from the light. But Dodgy's got 26 minutes left, and if I haven't clocked, I'm sure that I've got like 5 or 10 minutes left. And essentially we go in, we do a few attacks, we kill the Witch Mark Totem, I think I kill the Bear solo, and then that's it. And then I'm like, that's right, Dodgy's phone died at this point, and so we're checking to see if that guy, the Bear Cav guy, has unyielding, which he doesn't. And so we're just checking the armor and the boxes and all the other stuff. So I kill the Witch Totem and I kill the Bear with Invictus. And then I'm like, I can't do anything. And so I just lose on scenario at this point. Dodgy goes up 2, so he scores the unit objective at the bottom and he scores the cohort objective at the top. I score 3, so I go to 7, so the end score is 11-7. And then I'm like, oh, I probably should have contested that. Yeah, good job, idiot. So I hope that everyone enjoyed this game. I'm really enjoying the Crucible Guard at the moment. I'm going to enjoy them even more when they start to get their quality of life updates and things start getting mixed up in the faction. Lukas tomorrow with his new character Warjack. I'm going to be playing a couple of games on the weekend and I'm going to record them with Lukas and his new Warjack. And if the Mentalist and if Alyce change, then I'll play them as well in the list as much as I can. Otherwise, what I'll be doing is running a different list. I'm going to try and see where the Triumvirate fit in to the entire picture. And if I can find somewhere that I like them, if they're really good with a certain caster, I'll try and run that caster in the game. Otherwise, you'll probably just see another Lukas battle report in 2 weeks' time with the new rules. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed. It's fun playing Crucible Guard. It's fun playing into Old Umbrey. They feel really strong, and it's always a challenge when I play into them. And Dodgy plays them really well. And yeah, I'm loving Warmachine. It's a great game. We've got great support from SFG with regards to getting rid of the rack and the rules update. Everything's going well. If you've got mates that are on the fence about getting into the game, I would say that now's the time to try and encourage them to get back in, because this game is so much fun and I'm having a great time playing it. So yeah, until next time, thanks everyone. Alright, so we're back. It's Thursday night. The Crucible Guard changes have all dropped, more than what I was expecting. I was honestly just expecting to have Lukas's battle group box updated and that was it. Turns out we got the whole faction in one go, so good. A few things that I just wanted to note for this battle report in particular. I don't think a whole lot changes from the models involved, the outcome. I think it was mostly the same, right, for this battle report at the very least. My list honestly isn't changing too much from where it was in this battle report. I think the Dragon's Breath rocket change just makes me so sad. I really don't like that change. There's not a unit anymore. But anyway, I'm sure there were reasons why they chose to do that. I think that Prospero and Vulcan are still basically an auto-include in this list. I think the Vindicator gets replaced with Apollo because Apollo has an arc node. He's 2 more points and has synergies obviously with Lukas. So I think that basically stays the same. One thing that I would change with this list though, after the changes came through this morning, is the combat alchemists actually work on Invictus and Magnus. So you can essentially give in one turn the Vulcan, Invictus and Magnus, all 3 of them fire continuous fire attacks, right? So on all of those AoE weapons, especially if you're firing the Vulcan's rocket twice, and that's got AoE 3, so that's main target plus 3 other targets. And then the Obliterator rocket on Invictus is an AoE 3, and then the AoE on Magnus is AoE 2. So if you're hitting different things with continuous fire on their attacks with those 3 models, just those 3 models alone, you're getting 4, 8, 12, 15 targets set on fire. So any list that is running infantry spam at you is just going to die because you put Lukas up there. I know his control range is only 10, but you put Lukas up there, the fire doesn't expire, and double damage over their armor. Everything just dies. I just think that that's a really cool way to play it, and I did have Alyce in this list. I don't know if she's worth 5 points. Maybe 4. If she was 4, I'd probably take her. But at 5 points, I don't think I'm taking her in this list. And yeah, I just wanted to say that I just think that it's a really good. That's a really good effect from Combat Alchemist. I was a bit sad how they changed, but I think that is a very relevant change when you're running a list that has multiple AoEs. Similar thing to you can put it on the Stormtroopers in other lists, also very good in that instance. But when you can, yeah, that's probably the biggest change for this list. I think everything else kind of remains fairly similar to where it was in this battle report. And Apollo, instead of the The Liberator is also, like, he would have done much the same, I think, in this battle report, but living models -1 to hit, also very good, and rate of fire 3, insanely good, right? Yeah, I just thought I'd come and say that. I'll do a more detailed video on the changes from the Crucible Guard. I'll probably drop it sometime this week. I've got games, a couple of games on Sunday, and once I've had some games with the new stuff, I'll come back ready to comment on what I think about it and how much I like the changes. You know, the kind of 5-second elevator pitch, the changes are good. There's one that I don't like, which is the Dragonsmith Rocket. The rest of them all seem pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with the changes. And you'll get to see them play out on this channel. Alright, so thanks everyone, and I will see you in sometime this week for a caster breakdown. Cheers.